Ladies and gentlemen, Hex community of all ages, hey, Jake Freedom here, coming to you live from YouTube for this week's Hex Update Saturday for March 22nd, 2014. Now we had a patch rollout this week, patch 827, and it had a few changes, a couple new cards here, a lot of changes and fixes to the tournaments, drafts, so to speak, or drafts in particular, I guess I should say. A few gameplay changes, some cards that now work properly, some text changes, things like that. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Let's start with the tournament changes. There's a handful of them, 10-15 changes here. I'll go over just some of the main ones here. One of the cool things in draft, if you haven't seen, if you've seen my video of draft, there's going to be a new video coming out of draft. But what they put in there is they put in a large card view right down the lower right hand corner. And it just basically, it's, you know, I don't know, 10 times the size the normal card would be. When you mouse over it, it gets put there so you can read it easier, so you don't have to zoom in and out on them all the time. Let's see, players now are now correctly marked as eliminated when they are eliminated from the tournament, which is good. Saving a deck during the reserve phase no longer will give players the loading circle until the timer runs out. It's just that little circle goes round and round and round. That was kind of annoying. The turn timer is now correctly working while the player is choosing to mulligan or not. So you can't just sit there forever and just, you know, and the timer won't run out. So that's good that they've got that corrected there. The chat has been added to the drafting, deck building, and lobby portions of limited play there. Again, drafts are going to be more stable. Players who forfeit from a draft will no longer be taken back into that tournament when it progresses, which is good. So you can just get out of it and move on, whatever you have to do. Also, players are now informed who wins a tournament they participated in, which is kind of cool, you know. I mean, I don't know if you really care if you go out round one. Do you really care who wins a tournament? I don't know. So, some general things they fixed. Whispers can now be sent from the general tab. The attack animation line for troops that have to attack, for like Veteran Gladiator, Fists of Brigadon, you know, they automatically attack. They have that attack line. For a while there, the attack line was disappearing, and it would just go away. It didn't matter. It was just, you know, just a visual thing, but it was still kind of annoying. Like, oh, what happened to my attack line? Am I still attacking? What's going on? It basically just looked like the troop was exhausted and wasn't doing anything. So I'm glad they got that corrected there. The clickable area for the X button in chat settings is now appropriately sized. Now, I'm not sure that was really a big deal to begin with, but, you know, if you look at it here, you know, the little X button here, I don't remember it being weird size or anything like that, but, oh well. I guess it's appropriately sized now. The victory screen's missing text has now returned. Great, awesome. One more thing in the general there: when typing out a mail, since I have a new mail system in the game, when pressing enter will now cause a line break. Before it was doing some odd stuff, I guess. I don't know. Let's see here, some gameplay changes that we have here. So there's a whole bunch of them, so we'll just hit, you know, 5 or 6 of them here. Princess Victoria's text has returned. I was unaware that her text wasn't there because I don't play her a whole lot. I haven't been doing a lot of constructed. Basically, I've been doing drafts. The draft is the new cool thing, so I gotta do the new cool kid on the block type of thing, you know. So I'm really having a lot of fun with drafts. I should probably be working on constructed, but I'm not. We'll get there. A really big fix here is finally they've corrected when you counter a counter magic with a counter magic. Before the game would lock up. Now it's no longer doing that. They have that fixed finally, so it's really good because it was really frustrating when somebody would counter magic something you were doing and you had a counter magic sitting in your hand, like, oh, I want to counter magic through counter magic, and you couldn't do it because, well, it locked the game up. Well, now they've got that corrected, which is awesome. Damage events are no longer going off when 0 damage is dealt. For an example, the Genesis Hydra, blocked by Bird O'Plenty. Any targeted effect whose target becomes illegal will no longer still incorrectly resolve. They were having some issues where cards were going off when they were in the graveyard, resolving, and all sorts of weird stuff was happening. Double blocking a troop with life drain now should generate the correct amount of life. I can't think of any examples, but if you can kind of picture that, if you have a troop who is, like, say, a 6/6 and he's blocked by 2 3/3s, he should probably give you the proper amount of life again. I don't know. I'm not sure why that would even be broken. Because it worked for one card, why wouldn't it work for the other? I don't know. Maybe they're talking about the blocker is having life drain. Maybe, I don't know. Not sure, but they got it corrected anyway. Let's see here. Giant Cocoon can now properly transform into Giant Butterfly. And this wasn't really an issue, but when I saw it was an issue is when you had two of them out. One of them would transform, but the other one wouldn't. It would just sit there and continue getting counters on it. It was kind of irritating. Let's see here. The Kraken has had a text change, I guess. It doesn't look like it has, but anyway, it reads, as this troop enters play, as it did before, create 8 Kraken tentacles and then put them into play. When this troop leaves play, void all Kraken tentacles that you control. This troop has +1 attack, +1 defense for each Kraken tentacle you control. I'm not sure how they reworded it there, because it seems very, very close to what it was before. So and maybe it was an if, and I don't know what the heck they actually changed there. Royal Falcon now reads flight. I was unaware that it didn't. I guess I didn't pay that much of attention to that particular card. It always had flight, I thought. So, oh well. Let's see. The text for Prime Blood Orb of Brutality has been added back in. And the defense indicators that are displayed in the UI while dealing damage to multiple blockers is now correct. Champion's health is now displayed correctly to both players when an attacking troop with Crush is double blocked. Some kind of technical changes here. But whatever, they got them corrected, and great. It's awesome. A couple known issues. Replicas do not yet have the artifact border, which isn't huge. Oath of Valor's game text appears twice. Oath of Valor. Who's Oath of Valor, you say? Oath of Valor is a new card that we're going to show here in just a few seconds. So let's go ahead and get those new cards up. And let's see, where did they go? Of course, not prepared again. I forgot to pull them up here. No big deal. Let's just pull them up in-game. I think it's easier that way too. So let's start with, let's see here, Vampire King. This is a really cool card as I read about it here, or looked at it. Alright, Vampire King. Here we go. Vampire King, Blood card, 4 cost, 2 threshold, life drain with flight, 3/4, legendary. The text is, when this troop deals damage to an opposing champion, reveal a random card from their hand. If it's a troop, transform it into a vampire and put it into play under your control. Very, very, very powerful card. I like this card. And such little cost is involved too. I mean, 4 cost, 2 threshold. Even with 2 threshold, you could still maybe throw this in other decks. Splash it in somewhere. Because it has life drain and flight. And it's a 3/4. And when it does damage to a champion, you get a card possibly from the other player. And it turns into a vampire. What is a vampire, you ask? It is a 2/2 flyer with life drain. So for the cost of this card here, this card is phenomenal. I think it works really well, and is far above par for when it comes to card costs and their usability, what you get out of them. So this card here, again, I'll probably give it a 9. Maybe even a 9.5. Not a big fan of blood, but this card here I certainly do like a lot. Next card is going to be Circle of Preservation. I believe this is a diamond card. Whoopsie. That's not how you spell circle. I got circle. Circle of Preservation is a constant. 2 cost, 2 threshold. It's rare. And its text is, for 0 cost, the next time target card or action, it's worded kind of weird, the next time target card or action would deal damage to you this turn, prevent it. Once that's done, put this constant into your hand and it gets cost +1. So what does that mean exactly? Well, for 2 cost, 2 threshold, or just 2 cost, you can then prevent damage to you. Now, what it doesn't say anything about troops. It just says target card. Now, a troop is a target card. An action, we can figure that one out. Basic action or quick action. So I don't know exactly if they mean troops, or what do they mean by when they say the next time target card? Target card, So I'm guessing it means troops, but I don't know. I'll have to play with this one to figure it out. So until then, I can't really give this one a rating, but by the way it sounds, it's going to be pretty good, I think. So we'll see. Next one here, Trial of Faith. I believe this is another diamond card. Oh my gosh, I'm having a difficult time here today. Trial of Faith. Diamond card, 5 cost, 2 threshold. Again, it's a constant and it's a rare. And it's got a really long text to it. So it reads, when this constant enters play, void all other cards you control and all cards in your hand. At the start of your turn, add a faith counter to this constant. Then, if there are 3 or more, remove all faith counters from this constant and sacrifice it. If you do, transform each card voided with this constant into an angel and put it into play. So basically what you're doing is you're wiping your board clear. You are going to void your entire hand. So for a minimum of 3 turns, you're going to be top decking, possibly, depending on what you pull out on the draw. And since it's 5, this could be, you know, early mid game when you finally be able to get this guy out. So is it possible to take 3 turns, maybe not quite 3, but you're going to have probably 1 turn where you're going to have nothing on the field. So hopefully the opponent, when you do this, doesn't have anything on the field to make it. I mean, you can't just void your board and hand if the opponent has 4 troops up there and they're, you know, 3 3s and 3 2s on the board. You're going to lose no matter what. But if you void your hand with, say, 7 cards and you get them for angels, let's see here, this is going to be 3 turns minimum. 5, it's just going to be such a late game card, but the angels are 4/4 flyers. So if you can hang on for those 3 turns, you know, if you got, you know, even 4 cards, maybe even 5 cards, 5 cards minimum, because that would be 20 damage. 5 cards minimum, pull these guys out. They all have flight. Hit them for 20, end the game. It is going to be a game-ending card if you can survive through it. That'll be the tough part. So this one here, I like it, but yet I don't. Just because it's going to be so, man, am I going to be able to survive? I don't know if there's really going to be a strategy. Okay, he has 2 cards in his hand. Maybe I did something to wipe his board, and now, you know, it all depends on when you can really play it, and if you can play it, and if you get a chance to play it or not, just because of what it does. So, not a big fan, but it's not a horrible card. Just probably not something I would play very often. Next card here, Cerulean Minor Knight. This is a Sapphire, I think. Cerulean, right? Is that right? Yeah, Cerulean Minor Knight. Sapphire, 2 cost, 1 threshold troop human warrior. Keep that in mind for a second, human. And it's a rare. He's a 1/2. He's an inspiration card. As another troop with cost equal to or greater than this troop's cost enters play under your control, it gets permanent when this troop dies, draw a card, which is cool because the Sapphire decks are built around card draw. So he's kind of weak, 1/2. 2 is not so bad, but it's right within burn range for, you know, 1 cost for a burn, I think is what it is. It's definitely within Rage Fire range right off the bat. You know, so keeping this guy alive, I think, will be kind of a challenge. But he's a human. Now the card that came out last patch, what was that card called? Where you can show 10 cards in your hand. Just search for 10. Let's see if I can find him. This guy right here. Let's show the top card. That's not it. That's not it. Crap. Here we go. Hero of Adamant. As this troop enters play, reveal the top 10 cards of your deck. For each human revealed this way, this troop gets permanent +2/+2. So there are more humans that are coming into the deck. So I think that Adamant card is definitely going to be coming into play more. Let's see, how many human cards do we even have here? Search for human. Let's see what we get. Yeah, so there are a lot of human cards. That scroll is not going to work because that's all there is right there. So there's 1, 2, 3, 13, 39 cards? 39 cards? Yeah, 39 human cards. Some are red there, but no big deal. But you see a lot of them are diamonds. So I think that whole combo could work. This definitely would work. If you know what I'm getting at, put all humans in your deck. I think it's a very viable option. Not something that I would be nervous about doing. So maybe I'll have to do that for the next deck tech, is build kind of some type of human deck and then try to get those guys to proc that way. And yeah, I think that'd be kind of cool. So anyway, I don't know. He's okay. He's not great. I don't know if I agree with rare, but whatever. He's small. He doesn't cost much. He's a good 2-drop probably. We'll see. Let's see. Last card that we have new to us is the Oath of Valor. Oath of Valor again is a constant. Diamond, 4 cost 1 threshold. He is a rare. And then when this constant enters play, name a troop you control. Troops you control with that name get +2 troop, +2 and then here's the error that's showing double text there. So I'm not really sure exactly when it says name a troop you control. Do you point at a troop? You just say, okay, here's one troop. I have 3 over 4 of these. So all those get +2. I'm not exactly sure what they mean by name a troop. They have the wording on these cards is so different sometimes. It's like they're not consistent enough to be able to say, okay, just like that, just like the other card there, but where it says target card. I think that was the circle. Perhaps I just went to it. Next time target card or action would deal damage. Their text just isn't standard across all cards, and I think that's something they need to work on so they're easier to read. So name a troop you control, not target a troop you control, or just select a troop you control. So anyway, it'd be kind of cool if you have 3 of or 4 of a certain troop, because then they all get +2. But if you only have one, it's a +2, but for 4 cost, I don't know about that. But so it'd have to be at least 2 of card to be able to make this thing worthwhile. So then you're dropping the cost down to 2 for each +2. So that'd be all right. Yeah, so that is the cards for this week. One last thing that we can take a look at here is Corey Jones did post on his blog this week. He did not last week, and he apologized for that. Let me just go ahead and add this screen in for you real quick. Anytime. Here we go. I'll just go down. Alright, so we'll pull him up here. I don't like him sitting there. We'll put him right there. Alright, so what we got here, what's on draft? He's just talking about drafting and whatnot, and how he's having a whole heck of a lot of fun with it, how he spends so much time with it. He says he has a real serious problem because he didn't have anything to do between the hours of 11 p.m. and 4 a.m. Now they have a purpose, he says. So basically he's talking about when he gets home, he'll fire up a draft, and sometimes he could lose first round and, be in bed by 10:30, and other times he could, go all the way through and just have, be up till 2-3 o'clock in the morning, drafting away, which is fine. It's fun. It's fun drafting. I love drafting. It's a very unique play style, and I like it a lot. And he goes in here, he talks about some different techniques he uses to draft and how he gets what he wants out of the draft. He also goes in here and he said he used to do the draft as himself, but then it basically turned into a big Q&A session. He didn't like that, so he started using a pseudonym so nobody can recognize him. And so then if he gets an opponent that says, yeah, this is my first draft, I've never really done it before, he'll kind of play down, and so they don't lose, and just to make sure their first draft isn't a horrible experience. But then he shows here the first card he ever picked when the servers went live was Bird of Plenty, which is awesome. It's a very awesome card. I like that card. Then he goes into about, we want to talk about the experience drafting, uses his blog to reinforce some stuff. He says Hex is a real TCG with a real draft. I know that this does not come as a surprise to many of people reading this blog, but I think it bears repeating. It's not just what we offer it's not just that we offer real honest to goodness draft, 8 players opening and passing packs. We also design the card file from the ground up to be the best possible experience for the draft. So talks a little bit about how they did certain things there. Then he talked, like I said right here, he's talking about what his strategy is. It's really cool. I should read. I'm going to try it to see if it works. We'll see. Other than that, he let's see the statement. This statement, what he says here, this statement is uncomfortably similar to a truth you will observe if you have ever drafted in real life. In that, every time you draft, someone will say, "How is this card still in the pack?" That statement simultaneously tells everyone else that they are idiots and they are the superior player for realizing it. I have done hundreds of drafts, and this happens every time. So and I've seen it a few times. It's like, I'd be going through the draft. I'm like, what? That card's still there? I'm going to grab that card. Even if I don't need it, maybe. I don't know. Then we go into, and he starts talking about a card here from set 2, which is kind of an odd card. It's called Jankbot, 4-cost artifact. It's a troop robot. The card text is very odd to me. I don't quite understand it. You can include this troop in your deck only if it contains 150 or more cards or 60 or more cards in draft or sealed. When Jankbot attacks, play 3 cards from your deck at random. He's a 4-cost 5/6 robot troop. Hopefully he stays that way, but I think he's pretty powerful. No threshold, 4 cost, 5 attack, 6 defense. So I think he's good. So maybe that's a thing. Things to come. Things we'll see in set 2. Powerful cards for low cost. I doubt it, but that'd be awesome. So yeah, I like the card art. It's kind of cool. Yeah. So, other than that, that's going to be it. I'll go ahead and link the patch notes in the description. I'll also put Corey Jones' blog link in there as well, so you can go through and read that. When you have a chance there, it's a really good read. All of his blogs are a really good read. I like to read them just to kind of get in his head to see how he's thinking, how he does stuff. It kind of lets you in on a little bit of his mind there. It's kind of fun to read. Other than that, if you enjoyed the video, go and give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of these, please go ahead and click subscribe below, and we'll have another video for you soon.